Hi herbivores, and welcome back to Raw. It's Aisha. Today, since it is September and football season has already started, I decided to do some game day recipes and snacks that are perfect for when you're getting together to watch the football game, even just having a party, or if you're going to a potluck and want to bring something. These things are perfect. As some of you know, I only have a few friends that are vegan. However, the majority of my friends and family are omnivores, so I try to make stuff that I know they'll like too. And all these recipes have gotten outstanding remarks from my friends and family. So let's go ahead and jump into the recipe. I made 3 different kind of snacks. One is a stuffed mushroom. We have some pizza pastries today, as well as some little, I don't even know what you would call them. I guess we'll call them kickin' chicken sliders. Ooh, that's cute. I like that. Kickin' chicken sliders. Okay, let's get into it. So we're gonna start off with the stuffed mushroom recipe, and I took 8 ounces of mushrooms and took out the stems. You have to be kind of careful because it can rip the whole mushroom in half. So just be delicate. And once we pull out all of the stems from our mushrooms, we're actually gonna chop them up. So I ended up having 14 mushrooms from 8 ounces, so it's gonna probably vary. And now we're gonna just chopping up the mushroom stems. And I also pulled out the rest ingredients, so I have some breakfast sausage from Gardein, which I'm letting thaw, some Parmesan cheese from Follow Your Heart, and then we have some garlic. I used about 4 cloves, it's really like 3.5. And just so you know how to chop garlic, because I feel like a lot of people don't know, you just mash it with your knife, the side of your knife, and then you cut it. And it actually minces it perfectly when you do this. We also need 2 stalks of green onion, and we're gonna chop that up as well. And then we're just going to fry that sausage with a little bit of oil in a pan, and we're gonna keep mashing it up because they were in little sausage discs, so I was making sure that they're all crumbled. Added our mushroom stems and cooked that up a little bit as well, kept mashing it, and then added our garlic and green onions. And then added some of that Parmesan cheese, about 1/2 cup. And cooked that until it was melted, and then added 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. You can also add vegan cream cheese if you like. I didn't do that here, but it's an option. And then we're just gonna scoop that filling into our mushrooms as best as we can. There we go. It is gonna be kind of heaping out of the mushroom, but I think people really liked the ratio of the mushroom to breading, so I definitely recommend it. The first one I tried to compact it a little bit, but ended up just filling them kind of over the top as I went on. And we're just gonna do that with all the mushrooms. And this is a really great recipe to bring to parties. I know that people don't always prepare for vegans to show up, but I find that bringing a vegan dish and not telling people it's vegan really opens their minds, because a lot of people who are omnivores, they're very anti-vegan, and you just need to start introducing it to them. But everyone who's tried this recipe loved it. So I did have some excess sausage left, or that sausage filling left, so I made some meatballs for anyone who wasn't a huge mushroom fan, and then I tossed that into the oven. For mine took about 15 minutes, but I could see how some ovens are hotter at 425 degrees. So just watch it at 10 minutes to make sure it doesn't burn. And this is the final product. They were delicious. These actually went the quickest out of all the things I made. I think they disappeared after like 10 minutes. It was crazy. My dad was like, "Get these away from me or else I'm gonna eat them all." Next, we're gonna get started on our chicken sliders. We're gonna be starting off by making kind of like a chili honey thing. Technically, of course, we're not using honey, but we're gonna be using agave, so I guess a chili agave. So I chopped up 3 chilies and added a cup of agave, and I let that simmer on a very low heat for about an hour. And then by the time it was done, this is what it looked like. I put it in a tiny mason jar and set it aside to cool. Next, we're gonna be grinding up some seasonings, and I do not have a spice grinder, so I'm just gonna be using this doodad, which I cannot remember the name of right now. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of, how do you say this? Szechuan peppercorns. I'm probably butchering that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The stuff Rick from Rick and Morty really loves.
And I'll go out and I'll find some more of that Mulan Szechuan teriyaki dipping sauce, Morty. Because that's what this is all about, Morty. That's my one-armed man.
So we're gonna just put that ground up peppercorns into a bowl and then start adding other seasonings. 1 teaspoon of chili flakes or red pepper flakes. We're gonna be adding 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And then I added some everything bagel seasoning, but you could totally substitute regular sesame seeds for this. And I just added 1 tablespoon. Then I added 3 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then I just mix that all together. So for the chicken part, I'm just gonna be using some vegan chicken nuggets. I got a few kinds because I've never seen this alpha nugget before, and I haven't tried the Boca one, but though I've had the Morningstar ones a lot, and I like those. I actually cooked them all up and saw which one I liked the best for this recipe, and alpha ended up being the winner. I feel like it was most like a McNugget, like the breading. So I cooked up the whole bag of the chicken nuggets and tossed it into a bowl with the seasoning. I also added 2 stalks of green onion chopped up, added some of our agave so the seasoning would stick, and then tossed the rest of the seasoning on top. And then we're gonna add the rest of our green onions and more agave. And just stir it up or shake it up, whatever you prefer. The world is your oyster, your vegan oyster. And this is what the chicken looks like after. We're gonna get out our little buns. These are the same rolls that we used before in our White Castle burgers. If you want to see the brand, I think I have the brand in that video. I'll put that up above. It should be there, yeah. And I toasted this bun, and then we're gonna add a little bit of vegan mayo at the bottom. You could also add some on the top, but it's mostly just to keep the sandwich from getting dry. And then we added some chicken. I added 2 little chicken nuggets. Topped it with more of some of that agave with those chilies, and garnished it with some fresh cilantro. And you could tell how jealous Miko was that he was not getting any of this. But this was super delicious. I loved this recipe. I'm definitely gonna keep making it for parties. It's something that if you don't love heat, obviously don't make this one, but if you like a little bit of spice, it is so good. It's not overwhelming at all. It's very subtle, I guess, but also very flavorful. So the last recipe we're gonna be doing are pizza pastries. So we're gonna start off by making the ground meat. So we're gonna start with half an onion diced, toss that with some oil into a pan or pot, and fry that up. Then we're adding our grounds. My favorite brand is actually Gardein. They have a lot of protein and they mince it up really small, which I really like. Then we're gonna go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds, and I feel like this is very mandatory because it gives it that sausagey taste that is really nice on pizza. We're also going to toss in about 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, maybe 1.5 tablespoons. Add some garlic salt to taste. Of course you just use regular salt, but what fun is that? And then just fry that all up together. I know I made pizza sauce on this channel before, but I'm going to show you a different recipe. Starting off with 20 ounces of tomato puree, 2 tablespoons of dried onion. Then we're gonna toss in 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, and then we just need a teaspoon of sweetener. I just used a little bit of Splenda. Then go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of nutritional yeast. I also had some vegan parm, so I went ahead and added 2 tablespoons of the vegan parm. If you can't find it near you, or if you just don't want to pay the price because it can be kind of pricey, go ahead and just replace the nutritional yeast for that. And then we're gonna mix that up. And we're gonna pull out our puff pastry. Of course, the Pepperidge Farm ones we've used before on this channel, and they are vegan, so we're gonna go ahead and use those again. And then we're going to make sure that the creases are together before adding our pizza sauce. Then we're gonna add our ground sausage. And some more Parmesan cheese, but this is like the shredded one from Follow Your Heart. You could also just use vegan mozzarella if you like, and then just roll it up. Pull out a baking sheet, put down some parchment paper so it doesn't stick, very important. And then we're gonna cut up this little pizza log and place them on the baking sheet. And these were honestly my favorite. Like, they reminded me of a little bit fancier bagel bites. They're delicious. And then we're going to add some vegan mozzarella cheese on top. I'm using one of the best, Follow Your Heart, as usual. And then we're gonna toss this into the oven for 15 minutes at 400 degrees. And this is the final product. They were delicious. Not necessarily the most prettiest appetizer or snack, but definitely something where people are gonna keep grabbing one more. If you take any of these to a game day celebration or any kind of party, you're not gonna walk away with any extras. So let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite game day foods? But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that notification bell so when I come out with new videos, you'll be able to be notified. Notification bell, who knew? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.